we've, I think, delivered the country to a point where the people have choices. The country really is just getting on its feet. And it's just getting on its feet because of the accomplishments of our and their security forces. But nothing can happen if there isn't security.
The goal from the beginning has been to eliminate terrorists who use this land as a safe haven. 11 years later, Afghanistan is at a crossroads, influenced by factors of politics, economics, culture, people, and security.
The principal objective of the campaign that we're waging here, that these magnificent troops are engaged in every day, is to build an Afghan national security force, which by 14 is able to take over the security lead across the country.
For General John Allen, the top military commander in Afghanistan, building solid security is a mission that drives him. It's a duty that takes him on battlefield circulations throughout the nation, to military posts manned by combat veterans. Soldiers who know firsthand where the transition to Afghan security is working and where it's not. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing a message of optimism. We have 27 months remaining on this mission. That is a lot of time still to develop the Afghan national security forces. My commanders are confident that the kinds of integration and planning and execution that has to occur in a credible force, that's present now.
Allen is the 5th U.S. commander of the International Security Assistance Force, the 14th since ISAF stood up. He took the top spot just over a year ago, time he readily admits that has been particularly tense.
We have had some challenges. In the latter part of November, in 11, we had the cross-border incident with the Pakistanis. After the new year, the very unfortunate video that showed up about the urination on dead Taliban, that was followed with the inappropriate handling of religious materials at Bagram, the so-called Quran burning. Then we had the tragedy in Balaambay, the alleged shooting by an American soldier of 17 Afghan civilians. Against a backdrop of real partnership and real accomplishment with our Afghan partners and allies, there have been some real tense moments.
And let's not forget there's been a real spate of green on blue.
Well, that's right. We call them insider threats. That has really tested the relationship as well. Every one of those is a tragedy. Every one of those is a test of our relationship. You see, what's happened here is the Afghans are going to ultimately be the solution in fighting this insurgency. But the way to do that is for us to partner with them and for us to advise them. And the enemy recognizes that there's a vulnerability here. If they can separate us from the Afghan national security forces, then that is a major advantage to them.
Outside combat outpost Nurk in Wardak province, coalition and Afghan forces confront the threat where it counts. This is a region where the Taliban are active.
Caused a lot of damage, but nobody was...
On hand are leaders from the Afghan Army's 302 Corps, together with Afghan National Police and U.S. soldiers.
I'll be here waiting for you.
The ANSF are here to host a Shura. The U.S. will not attend.
Okay. Have a good meeting.
This is to be a pure Afghan gathering. Sponsored by Afghans, attended by Afghans. The only voices are Afghan. Ours is the only non-Afghan presence allowed. The ANSF are representatives of Jairoa, the government of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. The locals are village elders and community spokesmen. Brigadier General Razik commands the Corps' 4th Brigade. He looks to gain insights from the locals on enemy movements and maybe even offers of help. He knows everyone is tired of war.
All of the Afghanistan people want to bring the peace. All of Afghanistan people, maybe some our enemy.
Razik has 30 years of army experience, initially with the Soviets, then with the Northern Alliance and the Mujahideen. He believes in what Afghans can do to build their future. As a soldier of Afghanistan, he says his job is to make sure the people understand they have choices. Northern Wardak, the battle space of Kop Nurk, is high desert with little infrastructure.
The Afghan people, they've learned to survive. They've learned to be on the right side of the conflict that allows them and their families and their well-being and their livelihood to survive.
Captain Michael Gasser says trust is a big issue.
And if they actually believe that Gyroa and ANSIF are the right side to be on, then I think we've accomplished our transition goals.
The war in Afghanistan and the ongoing transition take a special bond between Afghan and coalition. A connection that in recent times has been severely tested.
The follow-through for the price that has been paid in the blood of the Afghan National Security Forces, and certainly the blood of our forces, isn't about more security, it's about governance now. This is really the chance.
The target, I'm going to neutralize the target. If I can't neutralize the target, I'm going to do a target.
Afghanistan is a war zone
Sector of fire.
where anything can happen. And being prepared is smart.
Roger, look to your left. Dangerous? Well, there's always a possibility of danger to suicide bombers. We are in Afghanistan. Main things, the soldiers are prepared to do what they do if there's a danger.
America and her allies have been fighting in this land for 11 years, at a cost. More than 3,000 coalition fatalities have been reported since the start of Operation Enduring Freedom. More than 2,000 are U.S.
Still plenty of dangers, still a lot of soldiers making a sacrifice, and the families that make the sacrifice that goes with them. So we can never forget it, that as much as progress as we made, we're still in a war zone.
Colonel Andrew Rowling commands Task Force Bayonet, a military force of 6 battalions spread over an area 3 times the size of Delaware. His headquarters, like all others in this land, keeps alive the memories of those who paid the ultimate price.
You know, quite frankly,
Rowling, like many others, is on his 4th deployment in the last decade.
Well, the CG likes them.
The 2nd to Afghanistan.
I think what we have done has probably prevented another September 11th. It's sometimes hard to look back and say, is the sacrifice worth it? But you have to believe it, and I do believe it.
Command Sergeant Major Thomas Capel is another who's served multiple tours. Now, as the ISAF Command Sergeant Major, he crisscrosses the country, checking on troops wherever they are, bringing messages of support, encouragement, and gratitude.
Y'all make me so damn proud that I am just overwhelming thankful to have the opportunity to serve with you. I have seen a lot of bloodshed, but what I try to tell our guys and girls on the battlefield that we are engaged in a war. But when you look around and you see all the good things that have been done around the world, that's what we do. That's why we join our service to protect our country.
Afghanistan is a land of many accomplishments, quite often achieved in the face of danger and deadly threats.
At Camp Bastion in the southern province of Helmand, an insurgent attack is now a scene where loss and adversity were overcome.
You know, we always look at the aftermath of what happened And then we recognize those guys for their achievements. But they're, you know, before this even started, you know, the Marines are always doing great things out here. These aircraft were either struck by RPGs or some kind of explosive device, caused them to explode and go up in flames. And this is just the remnants of what's left of the canopies. We've removed the aircraft since then. We lost our CO, and then we had a couple Marines wounded that we've already sent back to the States. I understand that we all sign up to do a job and we have to do it, perform it well. And you know, whether it's good or bad, we have to do what we have to do. Lessons learned is that the threat can come from anywhere, and you always got to be prepared.
Battle buddy clears it. All right, once you confirm.
As the mission shifts to one of transition, Afghanistan remains in many ways a battle space where doing great things in the face of danger is reality in a nation at the crossroads.
This is air holding a C cup if you don't have this clip. Close the feature.
Afghan security forces are slated to take over all aspects of national security in a little more than 2 years. It is a formidable task.
Are they ready to stand on their own? I think they've already started down south. And it's hard to say from these guys, this is basic training, you know, 12 weeks, introductory. So they've still got a few more phases after this. So these boys, they're not ready, but by the time they're done, they're ready.
The Afghan National Army is some 200,000 strong, spread over 6 regional corps, the largest it's ever been. Today, a decade since the ANA recruited its first soldier, it is truly an Afghan force. The international presence, like the Canadians here at Kabul Military Training Center, are strictly here to advise.
In no part do we step in and teach lectures at all. We simply advise the instructors, and as we've been here 6 months, that advising gets less and less every day. They're very competent. I'd say their biggest milestone is literacy. It's hard to standardize lectures when you have one brigmal who is literate and one who's not.
As simple as it sounds, basic education is pivotal. It's a target objective that could lead this war-torn land into a peaceful future.
These soldiers, when they join the Army, they can't even write their name on their contract. They have to sign it with their thumbprint. So the importance and effectiveness of a soldier is greatly increased when you actually teach him how to write his name, where he's from, and teach him how to count bullets and whatnot.
Since 2009, mandatory classes in literacy are required of anyone who joins the Afghan National Security Force, initially the Army, and now the police as well.
The highest level is a grade 3 level. The first 2 weeks is very intensive, and then it tapers off to once a week for 2 hours a day.
Like everything else here, it is a program for Afghans, led by Afghans. Understanding how Afghans lead is the job for Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Acklin, an AFPAC hand, a program created to bridge the gap between cultures.
A lot of people like to say that we're connective tissue.
What he connects to is Lieutenant General Salingi, Chief of Police for Kabul, the city, and the province.
You don't really mentor a 3-star, but what you do is you provide him access to stuff that he may not have.
Topping the list is maintaining the safety of Kabul. 10 years ago, there was a population of 500,000. Today, at 5 million, Kabul is comparable in size to Boston or Miami. No one knows for sure where the people are from, how they got here, or why they came.
What you'll notice is it's a little unorthodox. They got roads blocked off. They know where people are coming, where people are going, where their choke points are, where their bottlenecks are, and They threw a lot of manpower at it.
Kabul currently has a police force of 14,000. And the police chief has set up aggressive defensive procedures around the city, what he calls a ring of steel. 25 checkpoints that surround the perimeter. But it is, he says, only a start. All the problems in Kabul, he says, are mine to solve. The job for the police is to provide security. At age 47, Salingi has gained a reputation for speaking out against corruption and for personally ensuring 24/7 hands-on protective measures from Taliban attacks. Like today, where he's overseeing a presidential gathering at the famed Loya Jirga House, where many of the country's elected leaders have gathered.
They're to the point now where they're doing security operations on their own. We just got to get them equipped to the point where they can take it over completely.
The needs of security are persistent and far-reaching. Lieutenant Colonel Clint Cox is a Security Force Assistance Advisor, part of ISAF's new strategic direction in the aftermath of the surge.
It is the next step in the transition to getting the ANSF to be independent, to be able to function on their own.
His charge, Brigadier General Razik, a brigade commander, is giving final touches to an offensive operation crafted to scoop up a number of insurgents.
Because it's a good time for us.
Cox is an infantry officer with 6 deployments under his belt. It's hard sometimes to not jump in.
We're type A personalities in the Army. We're fix-it guys. We want results very fast, and frankly, the best way to do this is let them figure out on their own how to do it. There may not be the way that we want it done, or we would do it. But hey, these guys, they are capable, and now we're ready to stand up behind them.
In battle spaces across Afghanistan, coalition forces are stepping to a role of support, and Afghans are facing challenges and making choices.
That is one of my favorite ACP counterpart right here, my man.
Staff Sergeant Lang Lagafanua is an artillery soldier by training.
He also basically works in the other checkpoint over here.
These days, as part of Task Force Destroyer, his duty is on Afghanistan's eastern border at the Torkham Gate. The Torkham Gate is a symbol of progress.
We call them push carts. They're actually taxis. They come over here at the border, most of the pedestrians pay them, and they take them all the way down to the taxi stand or the bus stand, about like 500 meters from our location.
Torkham serves as the main commercial route for goods traveling from Pakistan to Afghanistan's interior. In a 24-hour period, 1,000 vehicles will pass back and forth. In that same 24 hours, tens of thousands of people cross the border.
Yes, well, it's usually busy in the morning. They like to do their shoppings in the morning, get their stuff, and then go back home, like either to Pakistan or back to their small villages.
The goods being transported are mostly the stuff of daily life and national growth. Security is good and getting better. A few weeks back, the Customs Police stopped a truck carrying 23 tons of ammonium nitrate, the key ingredient for IEDs.
What the Torkham Gate brings to Afghanistan is a glimpse into what this nation can be. Good security brings commerce. Commerce offers prosperity.
Reportedly, the Afghan government receives about $350 million a year from the Torkham Gate. That's 60% of the total national customs revenue.
How is business?
Very good. Here on the Afghan-Pakistan border, economy is on the rise. Keeping the wheels of business strong and vibrant is also the driving focus up in the north.
We're
Crossroads are absolutely critical to this campaign because it does connect the people to their government. And as a part of our counterinsurgency campaign, that is vitally important.
The road, in this case, travels through the Salong Pass, the only year-round connection between Central Asia and Afghanistan. Built by the Soviets in the mid-60s, the tunnel is primarily known these days as a potential death trap.
There was 40-some people that died here just this last year because of an avalanche going up the mountain here. So yes, there is avalanches and snow that does affect everybody.
16 Army engineers, in partnership with the Afghan Ministry of Public Works, are here to make it safer.
Our project is to repair it so that it is passable to get through winter till they decide to redo the whole tunnel.
It is a challenging project.
It's like Pandora's box. When you open it up, you don't know what you're getting into. We had rebar coming up one way or another. We found an old car bumper buried in there. It was quite interesting.
The tunnel itself is just over a mile in length, cutting through the mountains from 12,000 feet at the top to 8,000 at the southern end. In the past 11 years, countless roads and highways have been created, repaired, and restored throughout Afghanistan. Projects like this one, highways of opportunity, crossroads filled with choices and possibility. For young women like Majia and her friends, it means seeing their prospects expand. The girls are best friends. In fact, they call themselves sisters. They come from a very traditional province just to the south of Kabul, where women are rarely seen in public and their voices are hardly ever heard. They're participants in an ISAF-sponsored community network development program. The idea is to bring together elders, religious leaders, and youth, all from the same province where violence is common. In this setting, they hear from government leaders about the benefits of peace.
We talk about the transitioning the military and security, but that's only one piece of the entire puzzle. If we don't get the local communities to have a voice and to trust the government, then we've lost transition.
For Majia and her sisters, it's about change.
The day will, inshallah, will come that we will not cover our faces because we want to be like you, that you are, that you have. We also want that you have that much facility. We also want, inshallah, we hope.
Hope comes in many forms. Here at ISAF headquarters, Hope is a basketball court where Afghan girls can play without fear of censure.
Nice! Very nice, Wajma! Good shot!
Colonel Ginger Wallace played basketball at the Air Force Academy, which here in Afghanistan makes her an expert.
Good defense! Good defense! Blue ball!
Just the fact that today they can play basketball is a big deal, and is a lot of courageous young women who will go against society a little bit by coming out to play.
This is the Afghan women's national basketball team. Girls of a new generation, ready to make points on their own.
Because I love basketball. Basketball is like my life.
For these girls, basketball is their life. And like any other athletic team, they dream.
I want to go to USA because I want to play with them, and I want to watch NBA players in basketball.
Whether it's basketball or business or simply reading, progress is underway. Security is getting stronger, and Afghans are making choices.
The future for Afghanistan is unclear. What is known is that the U.S. military, the largest of the international community, is shrinking. And while U.S. forces will still be here past 2014, it is Afghans that will be responsible for their nation's security, stability, and building a peace that endures.